I started walking down the aisle. The train caught on something, pulled my head back, and ripped out a huge chunk of my hair. Oh, this is why you practice walking in your trains, people. I'm so sorry. Oh. Well, hello, lovely humans. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Jamie. I'm your online wedding planner, and in today's video, we are going to be going over some wedding horror stories. Now, as a gentle disclaimer, if you're not in a place emotionally where you feel like you want to hear horror stories from other people's weddings, if you're already stressed out, might I suggest clicking away from this video, because I don't want to do anything to dampen the mood or make you feel less excited if you're already feeling a little bit of, stress basket. However, if you are down to listen to some horror stories and potentially hear some feedback from a wedding planner on how they might have been avoided, then I highly encourage you to keep on listening. So grab yourself a cup of something and buckle up your hats and seatbelts and buckles. This is why I can never work at Disneyland. So without further ado, let's just jump right on into it. I actually am pulling this from an article on boardpanda.com. I'll link it down below if y'all are interested. I think they're all from Reddit though, but they're just conveniently all done in a list here for me. Makes it easier for me so I don't have to go hunting for them. Mine's actually funny. Oh, good. We're off to a great start. I would say it was the worst thing that happened, but it really wasn't that bad. Oh, okay. Well, then why is it number one on this list? We're here for the drama. We got married in a big open field under an apple tree. My uncle walked me down the aisle, and we started from pretty far away, so there was a lot of open field before coming to the aisle where the seats were. We start walking, and I suddenly realize that there are crickets everywhere in the grass, and the motion of my skirt on the grass is making them jump right into it and onto it. I had several layers of English net, and so I had some in between the layers crawling up towards my bodice. No! Thankfully, I had a waist seam so they couldn't get past that point. Yes, ma'am. I would have. No. I don't mind bugs. I don't mind them. Like, I have no problem. You do you. Thank you for your service for the local biome. But I don't want you crawling up my bodice. I had probably close to 20 in my train and ended up with one in my hair as well. My uncle and I were trying not to crack up. He just kept saying, just keep walking. It's fine, as I was shaking my skirt, trying to walk at the same time. My bridesmaids spent a few minutes getting the crickets out of my skirt once we'd got down the aisle, and everyone was laughing, including me and my husband. They say crickets are good luck, so that's a plus. Married 2 years this August. Well, might I be not the first, but one of many, I'm sure, to congratulate you on navigating that as elegantly and successfully as possible. But also, I don't have any suggestions as a wedding planner. None. I don't know how you could have avoided that. Like, what? Just maybe have someone else in a tulle skirt or English netted skirt walk before you? There's no recovery from that. There's no like, oh, it's fine. We'll just wade our way through bugs. You couldn't have seen that coming. I applaud your attitude, and I love that this is like such an incredible story that you get to tell for years to come. This actually makes me think of, we had a wedding in a field, and I think I've talked about it here on this channel. I might not have, but hearing this story, I'm like, oh my goodness. It was the time when our ceremony started 45 minutes late. When I tell you that it makes me physically uncomfortable to say this out loud, y'all, So this was a last minute booking. Details that will be changed. I'm not going to share any names, in case on the off chance years and years later, this couple happens to watch this, but they were there. They know what happened. It's fine. None of us could prepare for this, right? So long story short, getting married in a field, get everyone lined up. I have walkie-talkies, okay? I got walkie-talkies. I pass them out to people if I need to. So like if the photographer goes off for a first look, they can take a walkie-talkie with them and radio me when they're coming back so I can get people lined up for the grand entrance. Or in a situation like this, the bride was entering in on a horse-drawn carriage. You shut your mouth when you're talking to me. That is some Cinderella stuff right there. Like, just what a dream. And everything about this event came together in a very short time frame, but it was so romantic and so whimsical, and it was in like the beautiful mountains of Southern California. Just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Loved every bit of this. So when they said horse-drawn carriage, I was like, oh no, you stop. I love it. I love everything about it. I might have wept a little. So in this circumstance, I had given the walkie-talkie to someone who was in the carriage so I could figure out how far they were. And I've never been here before. I don't know markers or locations or where they could possibly be on what road. So if they gave me a name, I'd be like, I don't know what that means. So I get confirmation that they're close. I'm like, here we go. Let's go. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. I love everything about this. Okay, everyone, places. Let's go. That's not what I sound like on a wedding day. I'm just exaggerating for effect. Or maybe I do sound like that. and I'm just completely not self-aware. Get everyone lined up, and oddly enough, it just so happened that my dad was officiating this wedding. They didn't have an officiant. My dad's a pastor. I brought him in. I was like, hey, y'all should connect. They hit it off. It was great. So my dad walks down. The groom walks down. Everyone's seated. I radio again. I'm like, hey, I thought you were close. They're like, yeah, we're right around the corner. I'm like, what corner? Y'all, we waited for so long. We probably, at that point, were starting it 20 minutes late. There was a little rain incident. Not that big of a deal. Just a light sprinkle, if you will. And I'm continuously confirming, hey, where are you? What's going on? Hey, this is taking a lot longer. And my dad is standing there at the altar with the groom, and the crowd's getting a little restless, and I go to the DJ, I'm like, hey, who's operating sound off of a generator? So it's like, oh, in the background, just doing his generator thing. No, it wasn't a DJ, it was a live musician. I'm like, can you just keep playing your little keyboardy thing? Thanks so much. Finally, I don't even remember how long it was, probably 20, 25 minutes after I had everyone seated, I finally see this carriage. And when I tell you that this horse was moving so slow, you guys, I was dying inside watching this happen. And I'm not going to get up and walk and show you right now, but it was literally like step, 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 step. And I'm just sitting there in sheer mortification. Like, what is happening? I own horses. I own older horses. They're like 18, 20. Like, I'm like looking over there as if they're going to tell me how old they are. I get it. You know, I understand that older horses are probably not going to move very quickly, but they are crawling at this point. The horse could have gone backwards and probably got there more quickly. So when they said they were right around the corner, they probably were right around the corner, but at that pace, they were moving so slow. There was literally a human walking next to this horse, and he's not old, he's not decrepit. I think my rescue horses are older than this horse was at this time. I have no answers. I still have more questions than I do answers. But to watch them slowly just make their way down this road, and to add insult to injury, for some reason, people randomly showed up with dogs at this wedding. It was not in the invitation. It wasn't written anywhere. Nothing. And there was a very hyperactive German Shepherd puppy with a very cranky owner who's like not happy and wouldn't move out of the way. And the horse didn't like the dog, and the dog didn't like the horse. So, I don't know what that does to help you, but I think when someone mentions a wedding in a field, I just automatically re-pull up that trauma again of borderline yelling at this man to get his puppy out of the way of the horse. And he's arguing with me saying, it's a carriage horse. A carriage horse should be okay with a dog. And I'm like, you know what, sir? I'm not here to argue with you the merits and behaviors of a carriage horse. I'm just asking that you move your bouncing shepherd pup out of the way, you know, because clearly a carriage horse would also be able to walk properly. We are running into some issues here. I don't understand what's happening, but if we are together and are not understanding this, could we be together on this side of the road, away from the horse, where we're already like super late for starting this? So, moral of the story, fields suck. No, you can get married in a field. It'll be totally fine. This was supposed to be where I'm reading stuff. Oh, man. But instead, I'm just sharing some of my own stories, little anecdotes. You're welcome. Every time I think about that, I'm looking over and making eye contact with my father, who knows I am literally dying inside. And he's like, are you okay? And we're like across an acre. And he knows. And he's trying to smile and engage the crowd. And he's great. He's fantastic. I love my dad. Ugh. That's also the wedding where he broke a bunch of plates. That's a story for another time. It was an accident. It wasn't like a Greek opera moment. Okay. Oh boy. Had a small wedding in the Colorado Rockies. This one couple did all of the below. Oh no, there's a lot of bullet points from one couple. Okay, brought their 7-month-old without asking. That one's kind of a little bit more understandable. If they are nursing under the age of 1 and they're coming in from out of state, this is just like a missed opportunity for over-communication, right? They probably should have said something, but if it's a 7-month-old, I think etiquette basically says they don't have to ask. I don't know, but if you have concerns about people bringing a baby to your wedding, you need to talk to them about it, especially if they're exclusively breastfed. Then you kind of need like the food source to stay with the baby. I digress. Drove from Texas and expected to stay with us in our home in Denver before traveling to the mountains, Estes Park, about an hour and a half away. Please do not ever assume that you can stay with the wedding couple, ever. They did stay with us. Husband is too nice. And then they criticize our house, too small, walls paper thin. Yeah, I know. I can hear every sound your baby's making through the paper thin walls that you were not invited to sleep behind. Thought they could do the wedding in a day trip from our house. Did not buy a hotel room. My parents had an extra one that the guys were getting ready in and gave it to them. Stanley Hotel, $800. They didn't offer to pay or say thanks. They actually asked my dad for his credit card for incidentals. Sometimes I don't like people. Woman wore white to the wedding. Nope. A man forgot to buy a groomsman vest, had to go to the mall day before wedding to improvise. Okay, that happens. We've literally had like a groom show up without pants before because he forgot them wherever he was getting ready. Wardrobe things happen. Wearing white is not a whoops though. Baby cried during service and wedding coordinator had to escort them out. Okay. This is a huge fear and a big concern for a lot of people. I don't really run into a lot of issues with children misbehaving at weddings. Just don't. And if I did, I would probably be the person to escort them out, much like this wedding coordinator did. But please don't hear that as like children act like absolute heathens during weddings, because they don't. And this is a 7-month-old baby. What we're really dealing with here is perhaps socially unaware parents. I mean, they already are making a lot of assumptions here and need very clear boundaries described. We just didn't realize how many of them, like, hey, your baby's crying, please move. Like, it's distracting, please go. But this isn't something that happens with high frequency. I can think of one wedding I've attended. I wasn't even working. I was a guest. One wedding I attended where there was a crying baby and the parents didn't leave. And it was like, everyone in the room's like, hello, you should probably go. And eventually they got the hint. After a good 5 minutes, which is a very long time in ceremony world. But that's not a common thing. I've never seen at any of the events we've ever worked, ever. Rented a cabin for the weekend for the wedding party. Lots of partying and drinking. They brought the baby without asking us and then got mad/turned off lights when we were too loud. What? We paid for it, by the way, about $400 per person. So you brought your baby to an after party or a place where a bunch of adults are hanging out, and then you got mad that people were loud and just turned off the lights? What? Man kept knocking on our door on our wedding night as we were... Man kept knocking on our door on our wedding night as we were having marital relations, asking if we saw his keys. Hey! Dunk, dunk, dunk. Have you seen my keys? I'm not looking for them, pal. No, they didn't buy us a gift. Okay, I'm on the fence on this one. I get it. Some people have feelings about it. Some people don't. If someone is traveling for an event, in my mind, I usually just give them carte blanche. I'm like, look, you just traveled from Texas to Colorado. If they had paid their own way, I would have been like, I get it. You know, you're paying for hotel and travel, etc. You brought your baby. Like, you've got a lot going on. I don't expect a gift. Your presence is a gift for me. But since we also paid for your entire trip, I think it would be, you're okay to have feelings on this. I'll allow it. Oh, and I found out later that the man's mom offered to fly to Colorado from Texas to babysit the baby while they were at the wedding/cabin, and they declined. Remember earlier when I was like, yeah, you know, especially if they're nursing, they gotta be with mommy, you know? And then someone had offered to come and maybe there was a cost. Oh, these people make me so uncomfortable. That's a friendship ruiner. Like, I'll just call it what it is. That's the kind of stuff that, like, you don't talk afterwards. And you wonder how you got here with that person because you're like, this is not who I signed up to be friends with. Who do you think you are? Or, like, maybe your childhood friends from, like, deep, long ago childhood. A squirrel started eating the cake before the wedding even started. Oh, no. It's a nice little palate cleanser from the last emotional one. How do you anticipate that? You don't. You can be a little bit more controlled about when you place the cake out. Like, another concern with cakes in general is bugs, is weather, is the sun heating it too much. We've literally had a cake, but why is this Jamie's telling her own stories? I'm supposed to be reading these Reddit posts on someone else's article, but that's okay. These are original to me, and I'm not pilfering someone else's ideas and laughing at them. On the internet, we had a situation where, oh gosh, so much about this event was just a disaster. So much, and I saw all the red flags. I saw all of them, and I was like, okay, well, we're just gonna do what we can, and I'm gonna place up boundaries as I'm working with them. Like, the groom didn't show up for the first look. They'd been together for like 15, 20 years, and they're just finally getting married. I don't know what happened. I don't know why he didn't show, but their photographer was also a high school student. I never got those photos. Oh no. So someone had made the cake for them. We were inside and it was like a community center style place, which I'm not knocking. I got married at a community center and it was gorgeous and I loved it. But it was not a professional that had baked the cake. They placed it near a window. There was no dowel support whatsoever. It had not been properly chilled. Buttercream is mostly butter. And it started sliding over. And I had to catch it with my bare hands because I didn't have another option because all of a sudden I looked over and it was about to fall off. So sometimes you can't prepare for squirrels, but you can make sure you're being cautious about where you're exposing your cake to the elements. And by elements, I mean rabid beasts or small children or the sun. My mom fell down the stairs while trying to hand out boutonnieres before the ceremony and ended up breaking her foot. She toughed it out and pretended that she was fine because she was afraid it would ruin the day. It broke my heart when I eventually found out, but darn do I love my mama. Okay, soapbox. Prepare your souls for this one. I would also feel the same way as this person, being like, darn it, that makes me feel awful, but like also I love my mom, that you are so sweet to even think of that. But like what a precedent that's been set of like you have to maintain this idea of the entire day is going to be perfect. It's not. You want to know how many wedding days I've worked that have gone perfectly? Not a single one. Not a single one. I can understand the mom's intent here, and the mom probably knows this kid way better than I do. And so, I'm going to be careful about how preachy I get on the soapbox. But if you want your family and friends to have a relaxed experience and enjoy their experience, make sure you let them know that that's the expectation. Like, just have fun, please. And if something pops up, tell me. And how great would it be if we could all get to the place emotionally where we strive to get to this place where hearing information like that would not ruin our entire day because it's completely out of our control. It's one of the most incredible days of your life, but it's not the best day of your life. Right? How incredible would it be if we could get there emotionally to kind of release some of those struggles and release some of those concerns and not be beholden to that idea of like, your mom broke her foot and didn't say anything. No one's fault at all. Mama was just trying to be sweet. But if there's a learning opportunity here, maybe that's it. All right, we'll finish off on this note. My husband's father's new wife, not close with, we both had met once, showed up in the exact same dress as my bridesmaids. The one conversation I had with her, I told her what they were wearing, so it was very intentional. She also showed up with my husband's mom's fur coat on top of it. And then tried to walk in with the wedding party. No, ma'am! I swore she was going to get jumped by my grandmother-in-law. Okay. Listen here. Oftentimes we know that there could be some potential pitfalls. Sometimes in a situation like this, like you've never met this person before, you really don't know her, you don't have a lot of clarity, okay? Like we're not sure what to expect. But y'all need a body buffer. Y'all need someone in your corner to say, hey, could you do me a favor? Before Nana goes and jumps her, could you like step in and intervene? And whether that's a professional, whether that's coordinator helping to run your wedding day, which by the way, if you're looking for a coordinator in your area, here's a list of the ones that I have personally trained that would tackle a person if need be. Just kidding. Maybe. I don't know. Part of our training is martial arts. Or if it's a trusted family member or friend, if you're aware of a heightened situation that's going on and you're a little bit concerned about it and you want someone else to be aware of it so you don't feel like you're like tied to this the entire day, please pass that information off to somebody. That's something that we ask in our final details meeting. When I'm working with a couple, I always say, are there any, you don't have to tell me, but if there are there any family members or relations that you want to make us aware of that you would like for us to keep an eye out for on your wedding day? If you have something to share, please feel free to share it. If not, we can totally move on. And because it just helps to, one, have a professional in your corner that you know can handle it, or a family member or a friend. But obviously, I'm going to err on the side of a professional because then it's less emotional, right? It's just very clean cut. I said one. Oh, at two, yes, to have that relief, to know that someone else is aware and they're looking out and they're not going to cause drama and they're not going to stir things around, but just in case something happens. So Nana can save her hips and someone else can tackle her because jujitsu. Just kidding. I'm not physically active enough to even pretend like I know what I'm talking about. So that's what we have for this week's video, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you are stressed out about your wedding and you made it through this video, first of all, congratulations. Second of all, I really don't want you to have to do this alone. There's a whole reason that I created something called the master plan, because I wanted to figure out a way to get all of the long-term wedding planning services that I give for my thousands of dollar clients into an offer for you guys that could help you throughout your day and replace an actual wedding planner. So if you have not joined the master plan, if you've not checked it out, I'm going to link it right here, because on top of all of the stuff that I take you through for how to actually plan a wedding, we do live monthly calls where I can answer your questions in real time. If you do have some of these situations pop up as you're planning and you need someone else to listen to them and you need some professional guidance, please let me be an opportunity and a vessel for that to help walk you through this. Because as you can see, like for every story that I read, I had an experience of my own, and I would be thrilled to help walk you through any of these things that are causing you any concern for your wedding day. If you guys like this kind of video, I mean, it comes out, once a year? Go ahead and jump on down there, hit that thumbs up button, and subscribe to this channel for more tips and tricks for the modern day bride, with an occasional horror story sprinkled in. And until next week, bye guys!